So I'm not using my external microphone, I'm just using the one on my phone. Is that any better? Yes, Mary, lots of people have got the same problem, just pops. Yeah, I think I am going to have to restart. Okay, so I am going to restart. Let me just put it in a comment. And hope for some better sound. Oh, Belinda's saying it's perfect now. Kay can hear now too. Oh, okay. So maybe I won't restart. Katie's saying it's better. Much better. Okay, fine. So I moved to an external microphone because the sound quality on my phone was not good enough. So maybe something needs cleaning on my microphone. I shall have to Google it. I have to remember to keep quite steady and rigid and look straight at you. So we will see, and then I'll have to do some tests again. Okay, so I'm not going to start again. Not going to start again. Let's just pop that there. You've got to love technology, haven't you? Okay. Right, so I missed loads of people joining. So let me see who I haven't said hello to. I think I said hello to Lorraine, but if I didn't, hello Lorraine. And hi Pam. And Kay. And Gillian and Diana. Okay. All right. So we'll carry on. If the sound goes again, let me know. Sometimes it's very difficult to work out what causes these problems. Sometimes Facebook is doing a funny. Sometimes it's atmospheric issues that interfere. You know, sometimes it's just literally the equipment. As I say, I was using my microphone 2 hours ago and it was absolutely fine. I did quite a long recording and I checked it back and there were no issues at all. So I don't know what the problem is. But the main thing is hopefully you can hear me now. Okay, and Katie, if I haven't said hello, Katie's here too. Good, 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 good. So hopefully we'll be all right now. But let me know if there's any more issues with the sound, won't you? All right, so I was talking about my exciting week. So I've talked to you all about IKEA. You may have missed it, but I went to IKEA. It wasn't busy. I was exhausted afterwards. I think that that summarises it. And my other outing was we actually went to, dun dun dun, drum roll, a travel agent and booked a holiday for next year. It feels like a bit of a leap of faith, and who knows whether we will actually get to go or not. But we have booked a holiday for some winter sun in January on a cruise. So I'm really hoping we will get to do that. And if we don't, well, you know, it's insured and we've looked at all the ifs and buts, and we won't lose out financially if we can't go. So yes, putting some faith in the future there. So fingers crossed. Okay, so that's what I've been up to. Tell me what you've been up to. And while you type in what you've been up to this week, or even what your plans are for the weekend, I'll just give you a few Stampin' Up updates, and then I'm going to get on with showing you the hand pen suite and doing some crafting. So Stampin' Up updates, I usually make a list, and I haven't today, so let's see how my memory is. First of all, the last chance for the January to June mini catalogue, last chance list, that's still happening. So everything that hasn't carried over into the annual catalogue, some items have sold out, many items are vastly reduced by up to 50%, and you will be able to get hold of those items while they're still available until the end of this month, until the end of June. At the end of June, that's it, they will be gone. So don't miss out if there's anything you've had your eye on. If you order direct in my online shop, then there you will see up-to-date stock information and the correct pricing as well. So that's always the best place if you're ordering things that are in the sale. I'm always happy to place your orders for you, and can for sale items too. The only thing is that sometimes by the time you've told me and I've waited and gathered some more orders and placed a general order, often those items have disappeared. So that's why I always suggest you use my website, which is sallybowman.stampinup.net. Okay, so that's how to do your online shopping. Lorraine wants to know, where are we cruising to? Well, all being well, we're going to Madeira, the 3 of the Canary Islands and the Cape Verde Islands, and then there's one stop at La Coruña on mainland Spain. So it's 19 nights. There's quite a lot of time at sea, which I really like. So yes, I really hope we'll be able to go. It'd be very, very nice. Oh, sorry, I've got something in my eye. We've booked with Fred Olsen again. We've only ever done one other cruise, but we really liked them because it was a very small ship with not thousands and thousands and thousands of people on board. It was lovely. It was completely uncrowded. There also are no roller coasters, wave riders, you know, big casinos, all those things. None of that. There's a library. There's a program of lectures and information, and there's crafts, and there is some evening entertainment and music and so on, but it's really not geared up to entertain you 23 hours out of 24 like some of the really enormous cruise ships are, and we liked that. It was very quiet, it was really peaceful and relaxing, and as I say, incredibly uncrowded. You never had to wait for anything, so it was perfect for us. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but we loved it, so we booked with them again. So yes, hope that goes ahead. Thank you, Lorraine. Yes, we're very excited. I'm trying to be both excited and enjoy looking forward to it, and not so excited that I should be devastated if it has to get cancelled because of COVID. Kind of walking that narrow line between the two. All right, so the last chance list. We've had, as you know, for a while, a promotion where if you yourself place a big order, or if you gather up some orders from family and friends, if that order reaches £200, whether that's just for you or for a variety of people, then you get some extra free products. So with a £200 order, you'll get £40 worth of free products of your choice, and you can choose anything that's current. So that offer is continuing, but only until Monday. So if you've been on the fence about putting in a big order, or if you have, you know, not chatted to family who might like to order some bits and pieces so you can get some freebies, then you've got just a couple more days to do that. All right, so that's those two things. What else? There's a new sweet sampler, which I'm going to show you in a minute. That's hand penned, so that's really nice. The new kits are available, of course, and I talked more about those last week. And I think that's probably it. If anybody thinks I've forgotten anything, let me know. But I think that's probably all the news and reminders. Oh no, there is one more. It's a new class which you can book for now. So I'm calling it Pansy Petals class. You'll be making 3 fancy fold cards and a gift bag, all using items from the beautiful Pansy suite, which you may well have seen in the catalogue. As part of your class kit, you'll get the Pansy Patch stamps. If you've got those already, then you can choose something else to the same value. You'll get a quarter of a pack of the patterned paper. You'll get a quarter of a pack of the bumblebee embellishments, and then you'll get all the other bits and pieces that you need. You'll be providing your own ink pads, but I'll make some suggestions about those. And to be honest, there are so many colours in the paper that many colours are going to coordinate, so I don't think that will be a problem. So yes, so that class needs to be booked by June the 25th. If you'd like the full information sheet, then just let me know and I can email one out to you. Very happy to do that. Yeah, so I definitely think that is the last announcement. Pretty sure that's it. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera down. The sound will change because my face will be in a different place to the microphone in my phone. So if the sound deteriorates, please type a comment and let me know. But I'm going to cover you over, move everything around, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so here we go. Right, let's see if I can reverse everything. Right, so I will probably have to adjust things a little bit. So bear with me. I've revealed all, so I can't see yet myself, but hopefully you'll be able to see in a minute. There's a really long time lag on my iPhone. Okay, I'm just going to slightly adjust this. And then I have to wait for the lag to see if that's any better. Okay, let's give it a moment. Oh, it's not, still not very straight, is it? Let's, okay. I try not to fiddle too much once you are, you're seeing everything, because it gives people motion sickness, but hopefully that will be okay. All right. Still not very straight, is it? I am just going to fiddle a little bit more, having said I wouldn't. I'm trying to get it straight on the table, and I can never remember if I have to turn it the way it looks like I have to turn it, or if I have to turn it the other way. Okay, I'm still fiddling. Right, let me put something pretty down for you to have a look at. Right, I think I might call that it, because I could be fiddling all day, couldn't I? Perhaps I can move the paper and make it straight. I don't know, it annoys me if I'm looking at something and it's not straight. I don't know how much it annoys you. Just tweaked the paper a bit, there we go. That should hopefully be better. So, the hand pen suite you will find in the catalogue on, I've marked it, if I can get hold of my marker, here we go, page 104 and 105. So there's a lot of samples that they show for this, and there are some more at the end as well. This is the stamp set. There are coordinating dies, and you can get the stamps and the dies together in a bundle, saving 10%. There are also some Memories and More printed cards and card bases and envelopes. I'm going to show you those in just a minute. So that tells you where to find those, and the Memories and More items are on page 127. I'm trying to work around my phone stand here. There we go. These two items here. So that's page 127 and page 104 and 5. So let me take that out of the way. And this is the stamps, and the dies are here. So lots of the dies cut out the stamped shapes. So you can cut out this image and you can cut out this image. Then you also have this die here, which cuts out a really lacy floral image. I'll show you a card made with that in just a minute. And then you can cut out the flowers. You can use these to colour in the images. You can also cut out this one. I found for this, which is a little bit like a cow parsley or Queen Anne's lace style flower, I found it was actually easier to cut out with the dies first and then stamp on top, which isn't usually the case, but I found it was much easier to line everything up by stamping onto the die cut. And then there are some nice words here. Thanks, anything is possible, congratulations, and feel better, friend. And if you just wanted to say feel better, you can of course mask off friend with a bit of washi tape, then ink your stamp, remove the washi tape and then stamp, and then it will just say feel better. The other die you have in here is this one, which cuts a scalloped edge and adds some mock stitching, some faux stitching. I've used that on the project. I'll show you that in a minute. And there are also some extra leaves here as well. So lots of dies. They're really nice to use, you know, in conjunction with each other. But you can use the dies, almost all the dies on their own standalone without the stamps. And equally, of course, you can do stamping without the dies. So that's those. I'll show you the patterned paper. And in fact, I will show you this month's sweet sampler. Well, I call it this month's. You're ordering it this month, and then it will be posted out to you at the end of next month, which just gives me plenty of time for everything to arrive and for me to cut it up and pack it. All right, so the hand pen sweet sampler, you get a quarter pack of the patterned paper, which is absolutely beautiful. If I just lift a piece up, I'm hoping that you can see. It looks as if someone has sketched very roughly using a black ink and has then watercoloured within those sketch lines, but also additionally, so there isn't a black outline around everything. It's really beautiful. So that's one piece, and the floral images are echoed in the stamps. That's the reverse. And there's this one. That's the other flower spray. There's a stamp that's very like that. And then you've got this lovely kind of watercoloured effect on the back, but with a pattern as well. There are lots and lots of colours in this. There's black, there's Blushing Bride, Cinnamon Cider, Daffodil Delight, Garden Green, Highland Heather, Mint Macaron, Misty Moonlight, Pale Papaya, Pool Party, as well as Basic White. So you're bound to have ink colours that go with this, and card colours. And other colours will go. Night of Navy would work really nicely with it for a start. I've used basic grey on some of my cards. I thought that was just a little bit softer than the black. So there are lots of different colours you can add to that long list. So that's 1/4 of a pack of the patterned paper that you get with the sweet sampler. And I've also given you 6 sheets of A4 card. Highland Heather, Daffodil Delight, Mint Macaron, Pale Papaya, Garden Green, and Blushing Bride. So that's 6 of the coordinating colours. You'll get 1/2 a pack of, these are called genial gems. I don't know what makes them so genial, but they're certainly very pretty. And if I lift them up for you to see a bit better, I hope you can see they're made of, I don't know, some sort of resin. They're faceted, but not in a super blingy way, just enough to give them a little bit of interest and catch the light. And then they also have gold glitter in them, but it looks as if somebody has sprinkled glitter over while they were still wet, because some of them have got lots of gold in them and some of them have just got a hint of gold. And there's also a little bit of iridescence to it. They are really pretty. There are 2 sizes, large ones and small ones, in 2 colours. So those are gorgeous. You get 1/2 a pack of those. And you're going to meter each of 3 different ribbons. And unfortunately, my ribbon hasn't arrived yet. Otherwise, I would be showing you the real ribbon. So instead, what I've done is I've put the catalogue photos here for you to see. So there's Highland Heather Grosgrain ribbon. This one is Pale Papaya and White woven. It's got a linen feel to it. I don't know if it's actually linen. And then there's this one, which is Mint Macaron Velvet ribbon. This is so pretty and soft. So there you go. So that's the sweet sampler. 6 pieces of coordinating A4 cards, 6 different colours, 1/2 a pack of paper, 1/2 a pack of the gems, and 3 meters of ribbon in 3 different types. There'll also be an ideas sheet. If you can collect it from me, it's £12, and if you'd like me to post it to you, it's £14. So it's basically, I've calculated what the catalogue price is. I've rounded everything up to the nearest pound, and then if you need it to be posted to you, I've just added on the cost of the envelope and the postage. So I need to have orders by the 25th of June, and then it will be ready to collect, or else I will be taking it to the post office on the 30th of July. So that's that. If you would like to order one or you want more information, just let me know. All right, now let me show you just 2 other things that are in the suite. The first thing I'm going to show you are the cards and envelopes. These come in a pack of 20, and they work out, they're £9.25 for the pack of 20, which works out at 46 pence for a card and an envelope. If you cut your own from A4 and then you score it and then you put an envelope with it, that will cost you 35p, so it's not very much different. And these are so pretty. So the envelope itself is Pale Papaya with stripes, and then the envelope flap has got one of the patterns from the paper in it, and then the card is Pool Party with like a wash across it, and then these little white dots, white on the back, very pretty. The card weight is, I would guess, slightly less heavy than our thick basic white, but definitely heavier than ordinary basic white. So it's a nice weight, and certainly time you have decoration on the front, that's going to be perfect. So that's those, and then let me just show you some of the Memories and More cards. So Memories and More cards are great if you like to do scrapbooking. They are also fantastic for card making and bookmaking and other things. And you get a set of printed cards, and then you get some stickers. So this is half a pack here. You get 2 of each of these cards, and I'm just going to page through really quickly just to show you. Now that could actually go either way up, and these are all double-sided. So if you like both sides, then you can use one way and one the other, because you get 2 cards of each. If you only like one side, then you can do that. Oops, use that twice. That says Cultivate a Good Life. So that perhaps you would use more for scrapbooking. This would be perfect for card making, and of course you could colour this in. So again, for scrapbooking, that could be a journaling card. For card making, you could just stamp a greeting on there, and actually you could do exactly the same on the back. This one isn't, again, lovely for colouring in. That says Currently Loving, so that would be more of a scrapbooking or journaling card. I really love this one. I keep looking at it and I can't quite bring myself to use it. It's so pretty, which is ridiculous. I must use it. It's so lovely. So these cards measure 6 by 4 inches. So you get 2 of each of those. And then these measure 4 by 3 inches. This is also one of my favourites. So you'll see that they echo the patterned paper and some of the stamped images, and then there's often just a little bit extra on them. Several of them have something that you can actually colour if you like colouring in. And these are so pretty. We also have plain white Memories and More cards and envelopes in the catalogue, so they are sized to specifically fit these cards, and you can literally just choose a card and stick it on the front. You needn't do anything else if you don't want to. It will look beautiful. Of course you can embellish it or stamp it or do whatever you would like to. Love this one too. I need to pull them down a bit. Sorry, I've been cutting the top off those, haven't I? Let's pull this down a little bit more. There we go. So that's those, and if I bring in that card that I showed you earlier, let me pick one that will work really nicely on here. How about this one? There we go. So you can see there is your card done. You could obviously brush this with some Wink of Stella. You could add some gems to it. You could tie some ribbon round, but really the cards are just beautiful. All right, let me set all those aside as well. Oh, I haven't shown you the stickers. So you get 4 of these sticker sheets, 2 which are like that, and 2 which are like this. So some of them are printed, so you've got some printed little banners and labels, and you've got some plain ones, some really nice shaped labels there, and then you've just got some additional little things here that you can use either to embellish your card fronts, you can use them for envelope decoration, envelope seals. So there we go, so you get 2 sheets of each of those in the pack as well. Right, now I am going to move those off my table and give me a little bit of space. Okay, so let me bring in a few projects that I have made using these. So this is fairly plain inside. So I've die cut this with a die whose name escapes me, but I'll tell you what it is in just a moment. And behind the circles I've put some of the patterned paper. Then I've put some card behind the one at the bottom, which I have stamped. And I'm just looking for this circle die. I thought I'd done really well marking my catalogue, and I've completely forgotten to do that. So I don't know if any of my team who are watching can remember what this one's called. If you can, I'd be very grateful. If not, I will find it for you. But it's really fun cutting out these circles. The bits that are cut out are usable, so you get a whole series of circles with that. But of course you can put all kinds of things to peekaboo behind here. If you've got say some of the chick stamps or the puffin stamps, you can have them peeking in at different angles, which is a really fun thing to do. There are all kinds of things. I bet if you go through your stash, you'll see you've got lots of different things that you could use behind there, where I've used the paper. And I still can't find it quickly going through. If nobody can tell me, I will try to pop it in the comments later and show you. And then I just use some of the matching paper just to stick on my envelope flap. So for this one, I've used one of those Memories and More cards, which I've just trimmed. I just trimmed around the frame. And this is one of the stickers from the pack, which I've stamped on using one of the stamps from the stamp set. And this is this beautiful stitched die, which I showed you a few weeks ago in a bit more detail. It's absolutely gorgeous. Belinda loves that they have stitches on the cutouts and the leftover section. Yes, absolutely, Belinda. Can you remember what this die is called? Yeah, so these circles are stitched here, and the bits that come out are also stitched. So there is no waste with this at all, because you can use those again. Here's a pop-up one. So lots of opportunity to show this really pretty paper inside. And I've used some of the die cuts there, and these actually are the circles, or some of the circles, that pop out of that die. So you can hopefully see that they are stitched around the edges. And then this is the Highland Heather Grosgrain ribbon. I don't know if you can see, it's got a bit of a shimmer to it. That is in the Sweet Sampler. Picture This. Thank you, Kay. Thank you very much indeed. The dies are called Picture This. Brilliant. You'd think I would be remembering these names by now, but I'm afraid I'm not. So this is one of the new scalloped treat boxes made of craft card with little gold dots on them. And I've cut down one of those Memories and More cards for the tag here. And just added it, and then there's some more of that shimmery ribbon. And then this is the lacy floral die that I said I would show you. It doesn't cut out an image as such. It's very similar to the stamped image, but it just cuts out literally a piece to use on its own. And I've stamped onto the patterned paper here, which is something that I don't do often enough actually. And I've also stamped the background card. And that's some of those genial gems. So there's a few samples there just to whet your appetite. And I've actually got some that I'm going to make with you as well. I'm assuming the sound is okay because nobody's complaining and saying they can't hear me, so hopefully that's all right. So I'm going to make a card very similar to this. I've got my card base. For the white layer, I've used the Painted Texture embossing folder. And then I've cut 2 layers of the patterned paper using the die that cuts that scalloped and stitched edge which I showed you. Sounds still good. Thank you, Belinda. I'm really glad to hear that. And then I've stamped and coloured in using the stamped images, and then I've added a little bit of bling and a little tag. So I'm going to make one of these now. I'll give you the measurements in case you want to make something similar with whatever you've got in front of you. I know some of you have got this suite and some of you haven't. So tell me if you're crafting along, because I always like to know that. So I'm going to do a different colourway this time. I'm hoping you can read this. Let me read it out just in case. So my card base was 8 inches by 5 3/4 inches, and I scored it at 4 inches. So that's just a standard card base. My layer for the front is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. That's this one, which I've embossed already, because I can't get my big shot underneath my camera, so it's not very exciting if I do it on camera. I have to do it over to the side and then you can't see anything. Then I've got 2 pieces of paper here. So this one is 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and this one is 3 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And I've just cut the very bottom of those with that die. And then I've got a piece for my stamping, which is 2 3/4 by 3 inches. I've got a little bit of baker's twine tied in a bow, and I've got a little tag here. This is from the hydrangea dies. It's teeny tiny, but it's really sweet, so it's just right for this card. There we are. So shout if you need those measurements again. So I've got a pale papaya for my card base here. And I'm just going to stick that on. I have got a piece for an insert here, but I'll put that to the side just for the minute. So let's stick this on. Ooh, that's not very straight. That is why I love this multi-purpose glue, because when I stick something that's crooked, I can just slide it and get it looking straight. And then I'm going to layer these two together. They're the same width as each other, they're just different in length. Slide that again. I'm obviously having a not very straight day today. Because these papers all go together so nicely, you can really mix and match them, and it's just going to work whatever you do. Okay, so I'm not only am I having a not very straight day, I'm having a get glue everywhere day. Just use my glue eraser to get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so that's my basic layers together. So now I'm just going to do my stamping. So here's my card. I'll just make sure I've got it up the right way because it's nearly square but not quite. Yeah, so that's the way up I want it. So I have basic grey ink here, which is not one of the coordinating colours, but I just think it's a little bit softer than black for going with some of the colours. And I'm resting on a mat, a foam mat, because these are photopolymer stamps. So they work much better with a little bit of softness underneath them, and it's a fairly big stamp, which is why I took my ink pad to the stamp rather than the other way around. So I'm just going to stamp my flower image in the middle. And then I'm going to colour it in with some of the other stamps. So let me see, I want that one for the big flower, that one for the small flower, and then my 2-leaf stamps. So I'm going to use pale papaya for the large flower. And these stamps give you like a very almost abstract, not quite abstract, but very quick watercolor look. So they do not color in exactly, so you cannot line the image up exactly with your outline. So don't try and do that, or you'll be tearing your hair out. I quite like two-step stamping, where one of the steps is just a little bit approximate, because I think it takes all the pressure off. It doesn't matter if it's not lined up perfectly, it's never going to be lined up perfectly, and that's how it's intended to be. And then this little flower here, I'm using Highland Heather ink. Again, it won't match perfectly, so don't even try. As these inks dry off, they become less intense. They look a bit in your face at the moment, but they do go paler. And I'm using mint macaron here. I think actually this green is very well diluted garden green, but garden green's much too intense for it. So instead I'm using mint macaron. So again, this leaf does not fit exactly. I'm not even trying to get it to fit exactly. There we are. So I've used the large leaf here, here and here, and the small leaf stamp here. It almost fits here, which is at the calyx. I'm not a very botanically minded person. You could stamp it there if you really feel you need some green there, but I'm just going to leave it like that. The other thing I'm going to do is add just a little bit of Wink of Stella to the flowers. Give it a really good shake. I don't know if you can hear, there's a ball bearing in there which mixes up the mica with the fluid that's in there. If you don't shake it really, really well, then you get bits with no mica and bits with too much mica. So I'm just really roughly following where that coloured ink is. I'm not trying to colour in the petals, I'm just stroking this on where there's some colour in really quite a rough and ready fashion. There we are. And I've no idea whether that will actually get picked up. I don't know if you can see a shimmer on there or not, but I'm hoping you can. But it just adds a little something. Where's my glue? There it is. And my iPad's just caught up. I don't think the shimmer's showing at all, but believe me, there is some shimmer on there. There we go. So that's that on there. I'm going to bring in my little tag. Oh, if I can pick it up, it's so tiny. And I've got a little stamp here that says "For You," and this is also from the hydrangea bundle. It's this little one here, and this is where the tag came from. The tag came from the dies that coordinate, and that has carried over, I'm very pleased to say, because I do really love it. I came to it quite late. I didn't get it right at the beginning of the catalogue, and so I still don't feel that I've really used it as much as I would like to. So I've just stamped "For You" on there using basic grey ink again, and then I can just add it to this to finish off. And I've got my little tiny bow of baker's twine. I might have used my seam binding ribbon for this, the white seam binding, but I've run out, and my new reel hasn't arrived yet, so I had to use what I'd got. which is baker's twine. So that's the front of my card. Let me find the insert. I'm just going to stamp happy birthday in here. And I'm actually using the happy birthday from the Pansy Patch set, this one here. I really like that mixture of capitals and script. Oops, and look at that, just dip my insert in the ink, but that's okay because it has two sides. Alright, I'll pop that in and then my card is finished, and then I've actually got a third one to show you. So I've made 3 in this style. I've just mixed up the colours and the patterns of the patterned paper a little bit just to show you the same card a few different ways. I often like to do that. I don't like making an identical card more than once. Sometimes I do, but I don't really enjoy it. But what I do like to do is when I've found a layout I like to make more that are the same but with different colours. Let's put that one that side. There we go. So while you look at those, I'm just going to have some water. Oh, and what I haven't done is I haven't put any gems on, have I? How could I miss that out? They're so pretty. I haven't put any on that one either. Oh yes, I have. Sorry, they were down the bottom and I couldn't see. So here I put them along the scalloped border. Here I scattered them. So am I going to scatter them or put them along the border? What do you think? Let me know. Any thoughts on that? You'll have to type quickly, otherwise I shall have stuck them on. I'm just waiting in case anybody has an opinion. I know the suspense is killing you, isn't it? It is me too. Scattered. Right, thank you, Belinda. First comment, that's what I'm going to go with. There we go. Looks better with a little bit of sparkle on it. So there we are. That's 3 cards which are all the same but different. Oh, and Pam said scatter as well. Excellent, good. I'm glad I didn't upset you, Pam. If you'd said put them on the border, then you wouldn't have been very happy with me. Right, I'm just going to quickly clean these stamps because some of them I'll be using again. I've got 2 more cards to show you. Okay, so this one I nearly, oh no, not this one, it's the next one, ignore me. Okay, so I'm going to make something similar to this. So with this one I've die cut the paper using one of the new scalloped contours dies. So there is also a stamp set that's bundled with these, but the dies are lovely. I used the largest one, but they all have scalloped detailing on them. They have stitching, some of them have slits so you can thread ribbon through. There's also this really nice large scalloped and stitched die at the bottom. So all those can be used independently even if you don't have the stamps. So I die cut the paper. I also die cut the piece of white using the same set, and then I've stamped and coloured this image using Stamping Blends markers. I've die cut it, and then I've used the thanks from the same stamp set on the front. So I'm going to make something similar but different. Here we go. So I've got a Misty Moonlight card base this time, and I'll give you the measurements just in case. They're slightly different because I wanted everything to work with the size of these dies. So I've used the largest die. Then my card base is 8 inches by 5 3/8 inches, scored at 4 inches, so it's just not quite as wide. Sorry, it's not quite as long. It's the same width as before, but not quite as wide. My insert is 3 3/4 by 5 1/8, and then I've told you already I've used the scallop contour dies for the layers. I'll take out my insert just for a minute. So that's the first piece to go on. I'm just going to put little tiny dots of adhesive here just to keep the edges down, otherwise they tend to kind of pop up just very slightly. You could put this on the adhesive sheet when you die cut it, and then when you peel off the backing it'll have glue all over, even, you know, in these little tiny scallopy bits. Once again, I can't seem to stick anything straight today. There we are. Okay, so that's my next layer, and then this I've stamped and die cut already, and I've done some of the colouring because I think it's nice to watch a little bit of colouring, but you don't necessarily want to watch me do an entire thing coloured. And I was going this time, instead of colouring on this one, I coloured this fairly neatly and exactly. On this one I decided I would go with a more kind of approximate casual colouring, a bit like on the paper, so it's not exactly within the lines, the whole image isn't coloured, there are little white bits left, and so that's what I've done on here. So I'm just going to colour a few of these flowers just to show you. So I'm using the brush tip on my Stampin' Blends marker. This is light Misty Moonlight. I don't very often use the brush tip because I'm usually going for much more accurate colouring than this, but actually the brush tip is nice because it allows you to kind of swoosh the colour on, and I find it much easier to be casual with the brush than I do with the little round tip. There we go. So you can see I'm being very kind of haphazard with that. So that's my colouring done. I'm going to bring back this layer because I'm going to stamp some words on it. And I am going to go with thanks again. Do I need to say again? I'm always always looking for thank you cards. Okay, so I'm going to go with black ink this time. I went for a slightly bolder look, so I stamped my flowers with black. And I'm going to stamp my words in black as well. So I've got my Memento ink pad here. And that's not the stamp I wanted. That's the one I want. Okay. And then I can just arrange that on there however I want. Pop it on here. You could put this up on dimensionals, of course. And you can, you know, play around with the arrangement, whatever you feel like. It seems to work all ways round. There we are. So the other colours I used on here were light Daffodil Delight, and I actually used light Flirty Flamingo for the flowers. We don't have a Blushing Bride Stampin' Blends marker, but I felt that this was fairly close, and I did want just a little bit of pink on there. So that's that. Now all I need are some gems. I'm actually going to use rhinestones for this because I didn't feel the gold or the green genial gems went quite so well. Belinda likes the colours. I'm very pleased, Belinda. Thank you. Just pop a couple on there. Just adds a little bit of something. And then for the insert, I'm going to leave plenty of space for writing, but I'm just going to stamp a little bit of that same flower stamp on the insert. And I'm going to go off the edge, so I'm trying to clear a space so I can slide this underneath my grid paper so I don't get my matte inky. So that's my completed card. That's the first one. So you can see the steps are exactly the same, but they aren't that similar to each other. I think changing the colours makes all the difference. Cleaning my stamps in the background, in case you wondered what the noise was. Okay, and I have one more card to make with you for the afternoon, so I'll move those out of the way. Thank you, Marjorie. I'm glad you like them. This one I'm not entirely happy with. The next one I'm doing is slightly different to this. When I got them all on there, I didn't like the cutout flowers. I don't know quite what's wrong with it, but I wasn't entirely happy with it. But never mind, you live and learn, don't you? I just think it's probably just a bit too busy. I needed something simpler in the centre there. Maybe just one of these stamped onto the centre circle. I'm not sure. But never mind. I do like the colours. I do love the Daffodil Delight and then the Highland Heather together. I think those are pretty. All right, so I'll bring in some bits to make another one. So you can see I've gone with different colours again, just to show you other options. I should probably have a bit of paper that tells you what the measurements are on this, but I can't find it. I should be able to tell you those. So it's a standard card base, so that was 8 by 5 3/4 inches, scored at 4. So this layer, that's Pale Papaya, this is Misty Moonlight, and it's 3 3/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And then my patterned paper is just an 1/8 of an inch different because I only wanted a little narrow border on it. So the paper is, let me think, 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. I think that must be right. I'm going to double check that. I'm subtracting 1/8 of an inch in my head. Yeah, 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. Yeah, so that's those layers. Then I've die cut this from Pale Papaya card, and this die is from the Painted Labels dies. And then I still haven't decided if I'm going to use this or not, but I do have one of the layering circles cut for the centre there. What does this measure? This is something like 2 1/8 diameter. And then I've already stamped, coloured and die cut that same flower actually I used on the last card. I've used Mint Macaron, Misty Moonlight and Light and Dark Pale Papaya to colour that one in. And then I've got one of these little labels from the Hydrangea dies again, which is a label I find I'm turning to a lot. It just seems to really work for lots and lots of the things I want to do. And I have right next to me, except I can't see it for looking, there we go, Pale Papaya ribbon to go round. Alright, so a little bit of matting and layering first of all. No one said they're crafting along. Are you all just watching? You're maybe going to craft over the weekend. I didn't give you any great guidance this time because these layouts will work with pretty much any stamps and patterned papers, or you could stamp smaller images and make your own patterned paper. So I didn't really give you any firm instructions. Sometimes I do if I think it's crucial, but if you can use anything, then I don't. All right, so I'm going to wrap the ribbon round my pattern paper and tie it. So I'm just working out roughly how much I need, which will be about this much. Quite often I do it straight off the reel, and then I once I've tied my bow, I then trim it, because that way I waste the least. But sometimes, like this time, it's just easier to have a single piece which isn't attached to the reel. Just going to bring in my stamping seal because I just want to catch this ribbon on the back of the paper just to make it a little bit easier to tie the bow. Oh, Gillian's crafting with the last sampler. Well, I'm really glad you're enjoying that. That must have been the Fine Art Floral one, Gillian, is that right? And Belinda Green is chopping up retired papers and hoping to stamp later. Well, I'm impressed that you are chopping up papers. I think they're much more likely to be used if they're cut, aren't they? If they're cut to size, you can then just play around with patterns and colours. There we are. So I just put some stamping seal on the back of my paper. I've pressed my ribbon onto it. That's now going to mean that the ribbon isn't going to fall back onto the table. And I'm going to be able to tie that in a bow fairly easily. I'm actually going to stick it down to my card first. It's a little bit of a fiddle because I've got these loose ends. But again, it makes it much easier to get the bow in the right place if I do that. So I'm just holding these loose ends of ribbon out of the way and laying that down, remembering that I've got really narrow borders. There we are. Okay, so I'm now going to tie my ribbon. Was it last week that I tied a bow about 4 or 5 times? I just could not get it right. I think it was. Let's hope. This is a first time lucky bow. Yeah, definitely better this time. Good. Right, that's neatened those ends. So now I've got my little die cut piece. on top here. If that bow won't sit nicely, I shall beat it into submission with a few glue dots, which I think you've probably seen me do many times before, but it really works. So again, I could have cut this out with the self-adhesive sheets on the back, but I didn't, so I'm just putting some little dots of glue on those little narrow bits. It's a bit like a nest, this, isn't it? Those sort of nesty bits. There we go. All right, so I need some advice here. So do we want the white circle there, which will look like that? There's not much of it showing, to be fair. Or do we not want the white circle, and we'll just have the pale papaya showing? So let me know what you think. I'm going to drink some water while you type. So with or without the white circle, what do we think? So Marjorie's saying without the white circle, and Lorraine is saying the same. Right, thank you ladies. And so's Belinda. Yep, keep the circle for another project. Good advice. Excellent. Thank you ladies. So just pop that straight on top like that. Again, I could put that up on dimensionals if I wanted to. I haven't, but I am going to use dimensionals for my little label. So I've got my label here. Let me pop it onto a mat for stamping. And I'm using the thank you from the Pansy Patch set here. Much as I love the one that comes in the hand pen stamps, it's just too big for this particular label that I wanted to use. I'm going to use Misty Moonlight ink. There we go. And reach my dimensionals. That there. So that's my finished card front, and then I'm just going to stamp the flowers on my insert. Put my mat underneath because again I'm going to go over the edge. More ink. I've just stuck my thumb on it. Okay. There we go. There we are, that's my finished card. Now I did add some of the matching paper to the envelope, One of my favourite things to do. My friend Rosie taught me that top tip. So there we are, that is the last project for today. Let me bring in the other two to show you. I have to wait for my iPad to catch up to see if you can see all of those on there. I think you can. I can move them up just a little bit actually. I can't usually get all the projects on, but today it seems to be working. So there we are. Those are all made then with the hand pen suite. Lots of the paper, which is really, really pretty. I've used several of the stamps, and then I've added in other bits and pieces I had in my craft room, because actually this is so versatile. It will work with lots of other things that you have already. So Belinda loves this suite, and thank you for the compliment. I'm glad you like the project too, and thank you Lorraine as well. Brilliant. Right, I'm just going to quickly turn the camera up so I can say a goodbye to you. So everything will go yellow. Take off those special settings. I nearly forgot to do that. There we go. Okay, so my iPad will catch up in a minute and I'll be able to see if I've got it right or if I'm upside down or back to front. Hopefully I'm not. I can't believe that's today's session done and dusted. Amazing, really. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're going to fit in some crafting over the weekend. They're saying it's going to be an absolute scorcher of a weekend. At least they were this morning. I hope that hasn't changed. I haven't got any particular plans for the weekend, so it would be quite nice if it is. I might take some time in the garden with a book, I think, and watch my husband working. He says he doesn't mind gardening with me watching. So yes, that's my kind of gardening. Whatever you're doing this weekend, I hope you have a lovely time. Thank you for all the lovely thanks. It's been great to spend time with you. I'll be back here next week at 2 o'clock on Friday, and I'm going to do some projects using heat embossing. It's one of my favourite techniques. If you haven't done heat embossing before, or if you haven't done it much, I'll have some tips and tricks for you. And I'll have some ideas for different techniques that you can use with heat embossing and some projects too. I'll put up an event on my Facebook page with a little bit more information. I'll try and do it earlier. This week slipped by me and so it didn't go up until yesterday, but I'll try and do it on Monday or Tuesday for you, so you've got a little bit of advance notice of what to have by you if you want to craft along with me. Have a lovely weekend and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.